Hey, my Web3 fellow citizens, welcome back to another episode of the Smart NFT Podcast. I'm your host, Eugene CryptoMC, and today I am happy to announce that I'm joined by an extremely effective Web3 marketer. She's Nadia Bester. She's a Web3 entrepreneur, investor, and advisor, as well as the co-founder of Adlunum. And Adlunum is an NFT integrated, engage to earn, and proof of attention ideal launchpad for the Web3 attention economy. I especially love this term. As we are in Envelop, Nadia is deeply invested in the future of NFTs, and she's the host of the podcast of the same name. Find the link below in the description. She's also a journalist, author of the Web3 Explained book, and I am personally love reading books. And she's an international keynote speaker. Nadia, we are proud to have you as a guest. Thank you for joining us.
So I'm very happy to be here.
Amazing. So at first sight, your accomplishments in the Web3 space are absolutely impressive. What drives you? What motivates you to do a lot of brilliant stuff in Web3?
So I think ultimately what is important to me is self-empowerment of people by themselves and, of others, so that no one hinders each other's self-empowerment. And that really means that we all should have as many choices and options as possible, right? What works for one person, what's good for one person is not good for someone else. So I think what drives me, generally speaking, in life is enabling, I think, systems, especially for people who are not always able to, create the life or the experience that they want or the access that they want, to create systems that allow more people to really just live life the way that works for them. I think Web3 specifically, of course, is very good at this. But beyond Web3, technology is here to stay. Technology is an incredible force for good, but it's also an incredible force for a lot of bad things. And I think we are seeing this at the moment so many different ways. And so what really also drives me is the fact that it's almost like if you can't beat them, join them, but then join the right side. Whether or not we want technology to quote unquote take over our lives, it already has. And so I think what drives me is to show up every day and to ensure that these technologies that most people don't even think about, that we do them responsibly and we really build something that's sustainable and that thinks about the larger systems and how to make them better, as opposed to what do we want right now and don't care about anyone else. So yeah, pretty much that's the drivers.
Well, I would call it the strong moral and ethical fundamentals for being in Web3, because technologies are neutral and people's motives what drives people. And you show your primer, I would say, so how to behave correctly in Web3. That's a pedagogical goal, I would say. So if I'm not mistaken, you started in Web3 as a journalist. So how has journalism or journalism skills contributed to your success as a Web3 entrepreneur? And what inspired you to write the book Web3 Explained?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And in fact, no one has ever asked me that before. So thank you. It's always great to get a question that is new to you as well. So I think for me, entering the Web3 space through journalism meant that I didn't have a financial motive the way that most people do. So I was able to keep an extremely open mind in terms of what the reality is of what the industry is and what it's evolved into, and also, of course, what the reality is of the technological promises. Because when you're a journalist, everyone wants to pitch you and everyone wants you to publish them. But you can't say yes to everybody because a lot of them will not be around 2 weeks from now. And so I think, being able to be objective enough that you can appreciate the opportunities while also wary of the challenges that are kind of brushed over. Because I think a lot of us in this space are so tired of hearing, well, we're all going to make it. This may be one of those things that we all say, and it's good for morale, but are we really all going to make it? No, we are not. And so really, if we want to start with education, we have to start with our own industry. And so now Web3 Explained is a new series that we are partnering with Altcoin Observer. So it will be an interview series, much like this one. So yeah, long journey, but I think ultimately, just kind of wrapping everything up. I think the more that you get involved with everyone's problems in Web3, the closer you are to what the best solutions are that include everybody.
Indeed, this has been a long journey, but not so long. For 15 years already, we have had Bitcoin. It is so short and historical timeline of the people's history, but nonetheless, the industry is so young, is so quick. So the struggle for attention in Web3 is extremely exhausting. Extremely exhausting. A lot of marketers try to sell product with allowed to gain traction, to attract use. And my personal imagination is we have a lot, way more products than users we just have. Perhaps it's my biased view, but this is my view. So how does Adlunem, which you founded, help to overcome this challenge with its, I love this term, engage to earn and proof of attention mechanics, this threat marketing term, along with NFTs as well?
So really, just to encapsulate what Adlunem is, if you imagine SocialFi and what that means, SocialFi being, obviously there's a financial aspect to it where the finance aspect comes in, and then there's a social element where people come together in a community format, whatever that might look like. I mean, it looks different for different SocialFi. So we combine SocialFi with IDOs, initial DEX offering on Launchpads. So before I get more into how we do it, I just want to kind of zoom out a little bit and talk about why are we talking about attention in the first place. In Web3, there's a lot of focus on assets, right? Like you acquire assets. I mean, you hodl or you trade, and the goal is to get as many financial assets as possible. I mean, that's why people are in crypto. What we don't even consider is how much of an asset, and really a financial asset, our own attention is. And I want to make a super clear and simple example. I have 24 hours in my day. I mean, I don't sleep 8 hours, unfortunately. So I have about 4 hours of sleep, and the rest I can fill with stuff. But so you have your hours of sleep, you have your hours of working and eating and working out and whatever your daily schedule looks like. But there's a limitation on how much time you have to do things. Then you also have biological limitations. You have an energy level, you have a mood level, you have a health level, etc. So really, if you look at the amount of time and energy available to you on a daily basis, every time that I open Twitter, I'm making a choice. Am I investing in myself right now, or am I investing in X, right? Because if I'm on X scrolling, the platform is benefiting, the other users are benefiting. The question is, am I benefiting? Now, maybe I'm there to get education, maybe I'm there to network, to stay updated. I mean, those are all very good goals. But I believe that all of us can be honest with ourselves and each other that we all scroll far too much. We scroll past that moment and way past that moment where it's, beneficial to us. So this is one of the biggest problems with technology, is the fact that we are freaking addicted. Our attention is so valuable that companies will give us access to, billion-dollar platforms for free, just so they can capture our attention and really jail our attention. Because once you're there, they don't want you to leave. They're not going to give you anything, but they just don't want you to leave. The algorithm doesn't like you because the algorithm does not show you the things you want to see. So there's no friends that you have on that platform. The friends that you think you have, they can lose access to that platform. You can lose access to that platform. So really you own nothing there. So this is the reality of technology, and especially Web2 social media today. Now, in Web3, I mean, we have a very interesting landscape, because nowhere is community more important. So nowhere is engagement more important. But what we are doing is we are asking retail investors to give us their attention for free in the hopes that they will get something. It's a very predatory practice. I mean, it's just wrong. If we are saying that we are in Web3 to democratize access, to democratize ownership, we have to democratize community benefits as well. And so what Adlunem is if you think about Reddit has subforums, and all of those subforums on Reddit are all, very specific targeted communities where people show up and they talk about things. Now, I'm going to use the specific example of Wall Street Bets, the subreddit, because a couple of years ago during COVID, there was this whole GameStop saga where the Wall Street Bets guys, revived the stock, and it was Netflix even made a documentary about it. Now, imagine that you were on Wall Street Bets on Reddit discussing this, but because of your engagement, because of your level of engagement, because of your interest in the topic, you are also able to get investment opportunities into projects that are specifically raising funds and looking for retail investors. Now, I don't want to go into the specifics of what all these things are. I think everyone listening to the show will probably already have at least a basic idea of what it is. But so an IDEO Launchpad is a space where when a project, an early stage project is doing their retail sale, their IDO, the initial DEX offering, the Launchpad is the platform where retail investors meet the projects, and they are then, because of the allocation mechanisms, they are able to get opportunities to invest in this project. Now, launchpads are great because if you've been in the Web3 space long enough, you remember the ICO days. I mean, oh my God. I was very active in my Web3 career during that time. So I still get sleepless nights thinking about, those people that I used to work with, clients that I used to work with. And then the next day, they're in the paper and you're like, oh my God, what is this? These are I didn't even know these were bad people. So really the idea of a launchpad is to provide an additional layer of due diligence. So exchanges work with launchpads, other launchpads work with other launchpads, retail investors, VCs. So it provides an additional layer of security and trust in terms of, doing due diligence, vetting, etc. But the problem with the community engagement for launchpads is that there's not a community that's evergreen. They only come when there's a project that is raising funds. The rest of the time, the launchpad has it's a fleeting community. It's a pop-up community when they need it. And so what we've done is we've created a gamified environment wherein your engagement, because of, the miracle of on-chain analytics, which I don't know why, not more companies are leveraging just the beauty of the analytics that we do have available to us in Web3. We are able to see, okay, but this retail investor loves metaverse projects because they are always investing in it. So it's much smarter to market to them. It's much smarter to reach out to them and say, hey, instead of us choosing a random person to get allocation in the public sale, why don't we target those metaverse investors who are already very engaged? We see they want to be part of this. We see they want to help our project grow. And so that really is the idea, is to acknowledge that attention is an asset and then help people to be able to democratize that access and to use it for whatever opportunities that they want to use it for. Again, ultimately, the idea is for people to do whatever, makes them happy and whatever is their use case. Not all of us want to monetize our social engagement, but some of us definitely do, especially in Web3. I think it's a hype driving vehicle that no one is getting rewarded for, but why not?
Well, let me summarize what you've just said. First, I have noticed that we both joined industry in, remember 2017, where ICO hype was. I do remember this time very well. I was doing interviews from morning till nights, talkings, ICOs, and so on and so forth. What a time it was. What a night it was. It's the past which has already gone. Well, so industry has moved far away from those prehistoric times. Second, you have repeated the term retail investors so much time. So I have concluded that retail investors is your the first valid target audience. Then comes project. So retail investors go to Adlunem and make a sort of engagement, engage to earn, and find targeted product which Adlunem has attracted, has collected for you. This is the concept, the core concept you try to explain me, right?
Yeah, so we definitely are a middleman in the sense that I wouldn't say that retail investors are, sort of target audience number one and projects number two. We very much have positioned ourselves in the middle of these two groups because we understand very intimately what projects need. I mean, we've been through this process with so many projects, and then also we understand what retail investors need. And the reason I think that I emphasize retail investors is I don't think enough people in the industry are doing that. I think we like to say that we are building for the retail market and we want adoption and we love everybody and, world peace and all that. But when it comes to building solutions for these people, we tend to forget that they exist. And so if you look at the meme coin explosion now, there's a reason that everyone in retail is in meme coins because I mean it's more designed for them than the system that we designed for them. And that's on us, right? So I think we haven't thought about the retail investor enough. And so now if we want to retain them, I mean it's like talent retention at a company. You don't hire someone, treat them badly and expect them to stay. So similarly, if we want retail investors in Web3, we need to start treating them better and, making them feel welcome and safe and wanted and supported and cared for.
Well, could you please explain how NFTs, non-fungible tokens, are specifically being used into this engage to earn and proof of attention concept of Adlunem?
So we have an investor profile. And so the investor profile is, really sort of a collection of your profile is the best way I can put it. If you're familiar with decentralized identity, so it's kind of similar in the sense that this is an investor profile that at least the amount of wallets that you've connected, you can connect multiple wallets. And of course, your investor profile will grow in value the more data that there is. But you select what data you would like to share, right? So if you are comfortable sharing your social media data and linking that to your on-chain wallet, that is going to, of course, increase your value for the projects who want to give you allocation. But it's also up to you whether or not you want to give away that much information. So the NFT is a dynamic NFT then that updates as your profile updates, which is based on your engagement score on the platform on adlunem.social. And it's also based on really just, like I said, there's a lot of wallet intelligence that we are able to extract. And based on, the sort of type of investor that you are, I think there are certain investors who, like to jump from narrative to narrative and try everything out. And there are projects who want those kind of investors, but there are also projects who want an investor that is perhaps more dedicated to a specific narrative, and they know that investor is more likely to hold the token no matter the state of the market. So your investor profile is kind of a signal to projects who would like to give you that allocation based on the profile that you have created through your activities and through your engagement.
Well, I get you. So you said dynamic NFTs, and this drives me to the concept of smart NFTs, which, as I do believe, Envelop probably invented a couple of years ago when it started in 2020. So the NFT utility issue has been crucial since the emergence of NFT. So we have invented the term dump NFT just related to a picture and nothing more. So the concept of smart NFT, so the synonyms are financial NFTs, programmable NFTs, collateralized NFTs, dynamic, or NFT 2.0. It seems to be a potential solution, and we both care about the future of NFT. You and Adlunem, as the host of Future of NFT podcast, we Envelop as the developers of the cross-chain protocol who are creating smart NFTs. So what are your general thoughts on the utility issue of NFTs, on the concept of smart NFT, and in general, how do you envision the future of NFTs in upcoming years?
It reminds me of, I don't know, this X-Men where the kids develop their powers, but they are still teenagers. And so they don't really know how powerful they are, or they don't really understand what can go wrong because they don't have control of their powers yet. NFTs, the amount of attention that it has received, I mean, I think it almost surpasses blockchain in general. I think Bitcoin being number one, I think NFTs probably number two when it comes to the public zeitgeist. So we are fighting a gigantic monster of public perception, because you have art NFTs that have sold for $70 million. And then you had an entire history of the arts, that trauma over hundreds of years of not getting paid for your work. Suddenly artists all over the world are like, oh my God, this is our moment. We are finally going to get rich. And so then we had Bored Ape Yacht Club. And I mean, now a weird JPEG ape monkey is your profile picture, and that's expensive, and all the celebrities have one. I mean, life is always a very weird reality show, but I think the NFT episode was maybe one of the weirder reality show episodes in this world, because now we have this problem. Now we have the problem that dumb NFTs are what people think NFTs are all about. And so anytime you talk to someone and they don't like NFTs, they think you're an idiot because, you know, you believe in spending X amount of thousands or millions on a JPEG, or you just want to show off stupid things that no one cares about. So we now have that problem to deal with. Before 2021, there was a problem that no one understood what it meant, that there were no use cases. So we will always have trouble, no matter what our situation. If there's no adoption, we complain. If there's a lot of adoption, we complain too, because then it's not the right kind of adoption. But I think, you know, ultimately beyond all of this, I mean, like you said, I'm in marketing. I understand this game. We've gone in a weird direction, but I think we can come back in the same way that blockchain has to redeem itself beyond, you know, being just crypto. Web3 has to save itself from being dead all the time. So I think the ability for NFTs to adapt, to be interactive, to have sustained engagement that can change over time. I'll give a very, very easy, simplistic example. I have a coffee shop that I go to that's across the street. I go there every single day. They have a membership program where I have to scan a QR code on my phone. I don't know why I'm doing it. They do give coupons. I never remember to check the coupons until I've already left. So I'm getting no benefit from scanning my account every time. Yet I do it because it's like habit now. Now, imagine if that was an NFT program and that would incentivize me to go check my NFT and see what's happening, that something's changed. I mean, I would, because I'm already scanning every day. I'm literally taking the action every day without any reward. So it's easy to entice people to continue with behaviors that they are already doing. I think it's the incentives that are new. And so what we are trying to explain to people is, ooh, come check out this cool NFT. They don't care what NFTs are. They don't care what it can do. They want to know if the solution is better than yesterday's solution. And if NFTs can provide that, which, yes, smart NFTs technologically can provide a superior experience, whether it's a customer experience, whether it's a more business-focused application, there's a utility behind smart NFTs that you cannot find with dumb NFTs. Now, the question then is, oh, but who cares about NFTs? Let's just scrap them all, smart or dumb. But the thing is, the benefits that smart NFTs bring, only smart NFTs can bring. There's no other technology that exists that can bring those benefits. So it's a very delicate balance right now of explaining to the right people in the right ways, while not saying the wrong things to the wrong people, because we are facing education challenges on so many different levels. And I mean, that's why the work that you do, the work that I do, is so important, even if it sometimes feels like no one is listening. You show up week after week, you talk to people who show up week after week, but it doesn't look like the industry is changing. It looks like you're just shouting into the wind. But we are the ones who are doing important work, because this education is going to come over years, not over, days or weeks or months. So yeah, we've got our work cut out for us, but we're doing it.
Exactly. And you have mentioned Bitcoin. Let's not forget that the day we're recording this podcast, this is 16th anniversary since appearing the white paper, Bitcoin white paper on the forum by Satoshi Nakamoto. So all the Bitcoiners, all the Web3, just celebrate this day. This is the day, the event. That's why we do exist for 16 years already, for 15 years, all the industry. Hundreds of millions of people just because of this document, which not so easy to realize, to grasp. Only few people in the world grasped it and started to support this idea, and this is how it worked for these years. So, Nadia, these are extremely valuable thoughts. Perhaps you are the first. I will call you smart NFT lady, in addition to a Web3 marketer, because you're the first lady who explained me the concept of smart NFT. You have sold me, and I don't need to be sold NFT, smart NFT, but I'm working in that, and you have sold me one more time. So extremely.
So the marketer has done her job again.
Yes, definitely. So finally, to wrap up our episode, Nadia, give me to our listeners, let's say, three main advices, core recommendation. What would you offer to Web3 projects who are looking for retail investors in the fall of 2024, because everything is changing so fast, and also these advices are fresh for now. What to do for these both sides? Where to go? What to do?
So let's be honest, because I think if you are fundraising at the moment, and I'm anything other than honest, you will know that I'm lying. And if you are not fundraising right now, you might as well know anyway. It's a very, very tough market. We have had a 3-year bear market. Retail investors have been badly burnt. We can go look in the graveyard of Web3 victims over the last 3 years. There's a lot. And now we have meme coins, and there's a lot of liquidity going into meme coins. Meme coins is a fascinating discussion as well, if you kind of dig into what the psychology is. My theory on the psychology, at least, behind it. But if we look at it, realistically, VCs are not going to invest until there's retail appetite, because they don't need to lock their funds in your project if there's no indication that soon there's going to be returns and liquidity from your project, right? So this is the reality in this market right now. And so if you're looking to raise funds, good luck. It's not the best environment. However, and this is as true as the previous statement, this is not going to last forever. If we look at meme coins will not last forever. If you've looked at meme coins for 5 minutes, you will understand it cannot last forever. If you've looked at it for 100 minutes, you might be more loyal and think that it's going to change the world. But generally speaking, there's narratives in crypto that are changing all the time. So if you're fundraising right now, I think messaging is incredibly important, because a VC invests based on the thesis that they have. And some VCs have a very, foundational thesis, as in we always invest in DeFi, we always invest in protocols, etc. There are other VCs who are more, let's say, trendy. They go where the current popular narratives are. And so these are always things to be aware of and to know what's happening on the ground now. What do exchanges want to list? What do launchpads want to list? Doesn't mean that you have to pivot your company to become that. Please don't do that. But it does sometimes require that your messaging needs work, and you need to, how to explain what you're doing in a way that kind of piques people's interest compared to what the hot narratives are. The other thing I think is, speaking of not pivoting, you have to find product market fit. And so you have to pivot until you find that. Sometimes not receiving funding or not being able to get funding means that there's something about your business model, or there's something about the way that you're addressing the market that is not really hitting the note. Now, that might be because the VCs don't know what they're talking about. I mean, we all love to say that when we get off a call that didn't go so well. Or it might be that VCs are not going to be very honest. They're just going to not reply, or they're going to say not at this time, but they won't really give you detailed information. And so I think it's very important when you are not getting the right traction to then go back to the drawing board and say, what do these rejections have in common? Don't be afraid to ask people, because you need to figure out, where does your product fit into this market? I think, as you said, Eugene, it's such a fast moving market that something that was valid last quarter is now irrelevant. So change is happening so quickly. If you don't keep track, you really don't know what's going on, and you become outdated very quickly. Your approach becomes outdated. Your relationships even become outdated. And that brings me, I think, to the third one. I don't even know if this is 3, maybe it's more. But anyway, as many as it's been. Relationships. Web3, as I said earlier, is built on community, but that also means the B2B community functions in the same way. So if you're trying to build, but you're doing it in isolation, it's almost impossible that you're going to succeed because that's not how this industry works. People help one another here. People grow together. They learn together. And so if you're looking for funding, don't start with the money, start with the relationships. Maybe you need funding, a year from now. Maybe you don't need it right now. The thing is, you'd never know when you might need it, but funding happens on the back of relationships. Someone invests in someone because they like the person, they believe in the person, not because they believe in the idea, because ideas come and go, but founders with potential, it doesn't matter what their idea is. They can come to you with a new idea every year, but the idea is to be supported because the founder is to be supported. So yeah, make sure that you cultivate relationships, and also make sure that you cultivate the right relationships. I think you already know, sort of what you want, let's say in the short term, in the medium term. Start connecting with people that build out your own ecosystem. At Adlunem, that's something that we very much focused on. I mean, we have a B2B network that's like over 700 companies strong. And the reason that is because we've made that our focus to make sure that when we work with projects, we are able to give them what they need because of our very, very large partner network. Now, that benefits us as well, but it 100% benefits our clients. And so I think always looking for the win-win in a relationship does that indirectly lead back to funding, and sometimes, very directly. Maybe not overnight, but I think in this market, funding is not something that's going to happen in 5 minutes. The Bitcoin price is doing a lot of interesting things right now. So let's see. But we have the election in a few days, the US election. So that's also going to be very interesting. So let's see. Hopefully, by the time this video comes out, everything I say is wrong because, everyone's investing again, but probably not.
Well, being so impressed with your smile and your intelligence, I think I am a firm believer we've done an extremely useful episode for all Web3 fans, not just NFTs, for investors, for projects, even for marketers. I know that marketers will be looking at this episode very, very thoroughly because they are also target audience for us. So, Nadia, this has been extremely, extremely useful. So I encourage everyone to go check Adlunem website, join their communities, follow Nadia's Twitter, find the link below, and share this episode if you find it useful. Stay tuned in Web3, stay tuned in a Smart NFT realm, because Nadia Bester, smart NFT Web3 marketer and smart NFT lady as well has been my guest today on this episode of the Smart NFT podcast. I'm Eugene Crypto MC, the main host of DAO and Develop. Stay tuned for the next unique content in the niche of smart NFT, and not so narrowed maybe. We give you an amazing advices, unique advices, which are targeted in the right time, in the right place, like we did in this episode with Nadia.
Wow, Eugene, thank you so much. This was a fantastic conversation. You are honestly, I can see you've been doing this for a really long time because you are just so good at what you do. I do a lot of interviews and I absolutely have to hand it to you. This is hands down one of the best experiences I've had recently. Thank you. I'm so glad that we were finally able to connect. As we said the other day, sometimes some guests or some shows just feel like it's almost certainly not going to happen because everything goes wrong in the meantime. But I'm glad that we made it happen. It was amazing, and I'm looking forward to our next chat. And by the way, just a shout out to Envelope as well. I think what you guys are building is amazing. I think the dedication that you have to make smart NFTs user friendly for the world is very noble work. Thank you for that. Despite the fact that everyone says what you work on is dead, I always laugh when I say, "Oh, I host the podcast, The Future of NFTs," and then everyone's like, "Right, NFTs." So thank you for working in a space where you get that reaction too, and doing really great work.
Blockchain. BLOCK chain. Digital money, smart contracts, NFT, IDO, decentralization, transparency. So many opportunities, but so many challenges. Some financial manipulators, by their actions, confuse blockchain solutions and block their development. The idea that the blockchain should bring copyright and royalties protection to the next level is quite old. But the realizations of these ideas are not perfect at all. There is another problem of determining the value of a particular cryptocurrency or NFT. These and other problems need to be solved. Fortunately, the blockchain infrastructure is evolving. My name is E, Mr. E, and I represent the Envelope project. Many things have already been invented in the blockchain today. Tokens, smart contracts, platforms for creating your own coins, NFTs, exchanges for buying, selling, and exchanging all these blockchain resources. Envelope is another step in the development of crypto technologies. The protocol that works with NFT and cryptocurrencies. The idea is simple but disruptive. Let's assume you have an NFT, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Using the Envelope protocol, you can wrap the original NFT accompanied with several tokens. Technically, you get a similar NFT, but what is the breakthrough here? Once wrapped, the token has a number of additional features that were not available before. The minimal cost appears. It is provided with coins wrapped together with NFT. An asset wrapped with Envelope has a number of properties that allow the original author to receive royalties from the resale of that asset. Various rules can be applied to the wrapped token. For example, a lock period for unwrapping. It secures the asset till the determined moment or safeguards it from speculation during the hype period. At the same time, wrapped tokens can be transferred and traded. These are just some of the scenarios for using Envelope. NFTs become more popular, and the tools provided by Envelope expand the opportunities of NFTs utilization. Wide application possibilities are achieved due to the fact that, in addition to the protocol, the project includes a number of subsystems. The protocol provides functions wrapping and unwrapping. Oracle Mechanics provides asset valuation using analytical algorithms. Index provides a summary assessment of several NFT assets with the common criteria. The project has its own token, which connects all elements of the system. Altogether, this is Envelope, a tool in the blockchain world for building modern and secure systems in various fields. Find more info about the project on the website. Envelope. Make your NFT valuable. Just practical, no hype.